Okay, this is our next geometry lesson, and it is a continuation of our lesson on circles. At this time, we're going to be learning about the area of circles. So, we have learned about some of the properties of circles in our previous lessons, and we have talked about determining the circumference of circles. Now, the area of circles is a little bit more advanced, and um, this part of circles talks about the inside of circles. So let's look at what that means. So we draw a circle, and when we're talking about the area of a circle, we're talking about this shaded interior right here. So to determine the area of a circle, we're going to need two values. So one of the values we talked about in our previous lesson on circles is the constant value of pi. So pi is a value that scientists and mathematicians figured out before, and from doing different experiments with circles, and we have figured it out and rounded it to be this constant 3.14. Okay, that's always the value of pi. It's determined for us. That's the value that we use. The other thing that we do with area, the other value that we always need is the radius. We do not use diameter in area. So we always use the radius to figure out the area of a circle. So this is the formula that we have to memorize to find the area of a circle. The area of a circle is pi times r squared. And what that means is that's the same as saying pi times r, or the radius, times the radius another time. Okay? So basically we multiply pi, and then we multiply the radius again, and then we multiply the radius one more time. So whenever we get the dimensions for area, they're always squared. So your dimensions are always squared. They will not be linear like they were in circumference. So in circumference, you could take a string basically and tie it around the outside of your circle, stretch it out and measure it. That gave you a linear length. In area, we're trying to figure out how much tile or whatever, carpet or whatever structure we're using to cover this space. And so it comes in two-sided units. That's why it's square. Okay? So it is never going to be just one linear space to cover this. In other words, if I were to take a shape and start covering this, it's always going to be at least two sides to cover the inside of this shape. Okay? So we're never going to cover anything with just one side. We always have to have at least two sides of something to cover a space. Okay? So it's always, the dimensions will always be in square units. Okay? All right. So let's look at how that will work. Let's say let's look at our first example. Example 1. Let's say we have a circle and it has a radius of, goodness, I'm having trouble writing today. A radius of 2 centimeters. And we want to know what the area is. Okay, we will figure that out. So we use our formula, area is equal to pi times radius squared. So what we do is we multiply. So we say area is equal to 2 centimeters times 2 centimeters times pi. This works out to be area is equal to 4 pi centimeters, and notice this is squared. Okay, so our units are squared. Always pay attention to that. Okay, now that's pretty much how we do area. It's very simple. Now where this can get tricky is on some questions they will give you the diameter instead of giving you the radius. Let me show you how that would work. So let's look at example 2. And the question might look like this. Let's say they give you 8 feet diameter. So let's say they say, find the area of a pool with an 8-foot diameter. Okay, so here we have to do a tad bit more work before we can get to the area formula. Because remember, our area formula is in radius, okay? So let's write our formula down to remind us. Area is equal to pi times radius squared. But this gave us diameter. So remember, diameter is equal to 2 times the radius. So if we have 8 feet for our diameter, and that's 2 times our radius, divide this by 2, divide this by 2. Radius would be equal to 4 feet. Now we can use that in our area formula. Okay? So we say area is equal to 4 feet times 4 feet times pi. And remember, at this level of math, modern math lets us keep pi in symbol form. So area is equal to 16 pi feet, and we multiply feet times feet, so it is squared. And sometimes in the answer you will see it written like this. Area is equal to 16 pi feet. No, let me write it this way, square feet. This is also a correct designation for this answer. Okay? Do we see this? Mm-hmm. Okay. Just pan back to that side for a couple seconds. So you can see that problem. Then pan back to this side so I can erase. That's the main things that you need to know for area. Now, I'm not going to do this on this lesson, but I'm just going to give homework on this lesson for area, but I will eventually assign homework where you have to find the circumference and the area for the same circle, because that will be something you will see on the test, where they will ask you to find the circumference and the area for the same circle, because they want to be able to tell if you're able to use the correct formula on the same exact circle. Okay, so homework. For area. So on this one, these are all area only formulas. sure you get both boards for several seconds. And this is area strictly. This is homework for both area of the circles. And then we will have some homework later for both circumference and areas of the same circle. So we need to practice being able to use the formulas interchangeably on the same circle. I hope this has been a help. I hope you enjoy this lesson. All right, thank you.